All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Influence Makers. Today, I'm excited to be joined with Colin Cox. Colin has over 26 years of international leadership experience. He's also the founder of Cox Consulting, a trusted executive coach, and a MacKay CEO Forums chair, where he helps CEOs and frontline managers build high-performing team and lead with clarity in an ever-changing world. So he has a lot of experience there. He also holds an MBA from the Open University in the UK and is known for his authentic to-go approach for helping leaders grow. And when he's not running his business, he also spends time with his three energetic boys and a great life here in North Vancouver. So welcome to the show, Colin. So happy to have you here.
Thank you, Brooklyn. Very happy to be here.
Yeah. So to start us off, could you tell us a bit about yourself and your story of how you ended up here today?
Oh, wow.
I know it's a long-winded question, but
I'll give you, here's the cliff notes. You tell me where you want to zoom in. I grew up in Vancouver. I spent 26 years in video games and technology companies. I got a battlefield promotion to leadership role, a team lead at 17 years old. And, I left corporate life thinking, wouldn't it be awesome if I could just help leaders be better and really lean into my passion for helping other people grow? So I did that change in 2019, and lots of ways that I do that. But it's great. I do work I love with people I like, and I feel very blessed to be able to say that and feel that every day.
Oh, that's amazing. So whenever you say you worked in the gaming industry, what year was that? I'm just curious.
Oh my goodness. The first year I worked in video games was at EA Sports Electronic Arts in 1993.
Wow, that's amazing.
I was 15 years old.
15 years old. Wow. So I'm sure you learned a lot during that time. Yeah.
I learned tons. Part of the beauty of being a teenager in the corporate work, at least for me, was that if you did anything awesome, people would say, oh, wow, he's only 17. And if you messed up, people said, he's only 17.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, people can go easier on you for sure. Oh, well, that's so cool. And I'm also curious, how did you first get into leadership and coaching? Obviously, you had all this experience leading up to this point. So what drew you into this path?
I'll answer them separately about the leadership and the coaching, although they're related.
Yeah, they're two separate
Although
things.
they are related, what got me into leadership was a battlefield promotion. And at EA, in those early days, there were a few of us that understood computer hardware. And a couple other people built this sort of mini department to test all the computer hardware. If a game's going to launch on a computer, we need to make sure all the video cards and sound cards work and all this. So a couple guys started this department to test these things and build relationships with those hardware developers. And I joined it, and the two people who created it left to other parts of the business, and myself and another guy, a couple years older than me, we sort of inherited the team, got some battlefield promotions to team lead. And we co-led this team for close to 7 years, which was just cutting your teeth on leadership. So yeah, I've been in leadership positions since I was 17 years old.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So you have a lot of experience. And yeah, I think leadership is definitely something that you learn, right, as you go. It's not something that, maybe there's born leaders. I want to hear your take on that, but I feel like for myself, at least, it's definitely a learned skill that you learn every day.
Yeah.
Agree with that?
Partly. I remember having a debate with someone who reported to me, and he was on the side of nature. Leaders are born. I was on the side of nurture. You can develop people. I think I learned a lot actually from that debate. I think where I ended up with is, okay, yes, Colin, sure, you can nurture people and they can grow, but how long is it going to take? Right? Some people are going to take too long to develop where you need them to, and it just doesn't matter. So I think I kind of land in the middle. There are people with natural traits that help in leadership, but absolutely, leadership's complex. It's difficult. We're all still learning it. So there's a lot of nurturing along the way that helps.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I feel like you learn from the mistakes, right? I know you talk about that on your website and on your social. So like, could you share one experience, like a mistake you made that really shaped, how you lead today?
Yeah, sure. I'll share one about decisiveness.
Okay.
And embarrassingly for me to admit, but at one point in my career, my brand was Colin's indecisive, right? Not a decisive leader. And it was tough. I had someone who reported to me, and they came up to me like 9 months into it, and they said, Colin, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually really miss the leader who was here before you, because at least they'd make a freaking decision right now.
Wow, that's quite the statement.
With some tough love, but wow, it was a gift just to hear that. And they were right. And here's what I was doing that was leading me to be indecisive. I was trying to make everyone happy.
Mm.
I was trying to make the perfect decision. And I was treating every decision that came across my desk like it was irreversible. And a couple of things I learned that really shifted my decisiveness as a leader. One, don't try to make everyone happy. If you want to make everyone happy, quit your job as a leader and go sell ice cream.
So true. Yeah. Couldn't agree.
Number two, you're not going to have perfect information, and you're going to make mistakes. The best baseball hitters in history, in the Hall of Fame, they fail at the plate 60% plus of the time. And as leaders, we're probably not going to be so bad, but we're definitely not batting 1,000 as leaders with our decisions. Why? The world's complex and ambiguous and changing all the time. And the third thing I learned was don't treat every decision like it's irreversible. I learned really there's two types: easily reversible decisions, irreversible or very difficult to reverse decisions. And for those easily reversible decisions, I learned have a bias for action, right? They benefit so much more from just make it go, adjust as you go and learn and new information emerges.
Oh wow, there's so many truth bombs you just said there because I can relate to that. I feel like lately there's been times, especially in the past few weeks, where I'm just overthinking it and trying to make the perfect decision, whether it's, you know, coming up with an email sequence or it's coming up with my marketing, where you're right, you just gotta try and just make the decision and then figure it out later because you don't know until you try. Yeah. Obvious, but I think as leaders, we're just trying to be perfect all the time when the reality is you can't.
No, it's a fool's chase to think that. So yeah, I learned a lot about being decisive through that. And just what a gift from someone reporting to me to have the courage to say, at least this other leader would make a freaking decision.
Yeah, I think I've had, that is quite the wake up call. I've had a couple of those in my life too, and it really shapes how you think. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that. Thank you for sharing that. And
Yeah, of course.
and I think our audience will really take away from that statement there because it's so true, right?
Yeah. And for your audience, right? Like, how many decisions do you make that actually are truly irreversible or difficult to reverse, right? There's
And
very few,
very few.
right? Your partner, spouse, you have kids, like buying a home, getting married. These are not easily reversible decisions at
True.
all. The business side, mergers and acquisitions, not easily reversible. Some hiring maybe, and you can reverse the bad hiring decision, but it's not that easy. But overwhelmingly, the amount of decisions we make that are easily reversible is pretty high.
I totally agree. There's always a way that you could tweak it or I think it just goes to show like we naturally could, make things bigger in our heads, but the reality is, most things can be tweaked, most things can be changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I love that you say that. Well, switching gears here a little bit from I guess it goes along the lines of what you were saying, but you've worked obviously with a ton of CEOs and frontline managers. What mindset, right? I'm having trouble saying this, mindset shifts do you think separate good leaders from great leaders? So what would you say is that distinction?
Yeah, that's a really powerful question, Brooklyn. I'll share two, I think, that really separate good leaders from great leaders. And I'll, like, my definition of mindset, it's the underlying beliefs and assumptions and attitudes you have. And that really shapes your world, what you see, how you engage with it. So I think being self-aware and in control of your mindset is a superpower in leadership and in life. There's probably two that come to mind most for separating good leaders and great leaders. The first one is drop the judgment.
Mhm.
Drop the judgment. Stop seeing things as good or bad and just see them as they are.
Mhm.
And if you apply that to the example I shared about decision making, when, the guy said, Colin, at least he'd make a frickin' decision. Well, my ego could get in the way and I could judge myself. I could defend and argue, well, that's useless. I could beat myself up, equally useless. But what if I just dropped the judgment and saw that for what it was? An honest assessment of my decision making as a leader. And when you have this mindset of just dropping the judgment, don't judge it as good or bad, just see things as they are, I find it accelerates your growth because you just learn so much. You see things as they are and you can keep going.
Oh my word, that's so good. Yeah, yeah, the less that we can judge, the better, because I think we naturally do that, especially in the era that we're in with social media. Is every post, we're judging it in a sense. Should I like it? Should I comment? Should I engage with this? But if we could just take it as it is and just be like, you know what, this person put this post together. Yeah, I might not agree with it, but yeah, dropping the judgment is huge.
It's so powerful. Here's one way I use that in particular. And here's the way one of my mentors, Alan Weiss, has framed it. In terms of somebody like me who, let's say I'm running a leadership workshop, leadership training day. The kind of mindset without judgment is this. I'm going to prepare the best I can. I'm going to show up and deliver the best I can. I'm going to learn from what went wrong and what worked well and make adjustments. And I'll wake up the next day and do it all over again. There's no time to judge it as good or bad. Just see it for what it is, make adjustments.
That is such a good mindset. I'm definitely going to steal that from.
Yeah.
That's great.
So good.
That's so good. Oh my
So
God.
good.
I think the more people can think that way would save a lot of heartache.
It just helps reduce anxiety and all of it. I mean, we're most of us are our own worst inner critics. Stop it.
Right? It's
Stop it.
now I think I heard someone say that, yeah, you wouldn't say all these mean things to your friend or another, colleague, that all the negative things in our head, but we say it to ourselves every day, like, oh, there you go again. Oh, that launch didn't go as well. Like, we're so quick to just down ourselves, and it's definitely something you have to rewire in your mind. That's why I love the work that you do. Is, you're helping people get out of that rabbit hole that they get in. And I'm sure you do this all the time. Like, what would you say some of the biggest challenges that leaders would face in this regard? And as far as like their mindset or the limiting beliefs they have?
Yeah, it's being stuck in their own heads. This is one of the massive bits of value people get from being part of MacKay CEO Forums or any kind of peer group.
Mhm.
It's actually, you don't need to go there and have other people tell you what to do. You just need to go there and you need a sounding board. You need people outside of your own head. And that's the best, formal, informal peer groups, but just being around peers is a huge advantage to having you not get stuck in your own head.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, and you've been doing this. You've been a MacKay chair for a couple years now, and I'm sure you've definitely heard and seen lots of different stories.
I've been in MacKay CEO meetings for a decade, about 5 years, 6 years as a chair, and 5 years as a member before that.
Okay, so
Yeah, hugely valuable.
absolutely, yeah, and I see it firsthand. Helping some of the chairs that they're marketing and different things that we do at Brooklyn Social, and I just love the mission of MacKay, and seeing chairs like yourself just live it out is just very inspiring. And
it's powerful. It's powerful. I wanted to share the second mindset, if you want to hear it.
Absolutely, keep going.
The second one, I would label this mindset, it's not all about you. And where I get inspiration for this from is the hero's journey, which Joseph Campbell wrote about in 1949 in his book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And the hero's journey, it's just this sort of model that now gets used in a lot of film, TV, media. It's just this sort of blueprint for a story that tends to grab our attention. In fact, George Lucas specifically used the hero's journey to build the story for Star Wars, the first Star Wars film in 1977.
Okay.
Credited Joseph Campbell. And it kind of goes like this. There's a hero. They have a problem. They meet a guide. The guide gives them a plan and calls them to action. And on the hero goes to success, right? And so in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker's got a problem. The Empire murdered his aunt and uncle. He meets the guide Obi-Wan Kenobi, gives him a plan, go learn the Force, calls them into action, take on the Death Star, and so on. So there's something about that kind of blueprint that resonates with humans. But here's the thing. We're all the heroes in our own story. You know, sometimes I'll be in a room of leaders and I'll play a trick on them. I'll go and ask, hey, Brooklyn, what's your favorite subject in the world? And Brooklyn will say marketing, and someone else will say cars, and someone else will say sports, and on we go. I then say, you're all lying. Your favorite subject is yourself.
That's so funny. It's so
And
true.
everyone laughs and says, you got me, right?
Yeah.
We are all the heroes in our own story. It's just kind of natural for us. But this mindset that it's not all about you. It's all about shifting in your interactions instead of the perspective of the hero, where you're kind of seeing like, I'm focused on my problems, dreams, opportunities, hopes, and I'm looking for other people to help me.
Mm.
Flip it. And instead have this mindset that you're the guide. And not the guide like, I'm on a pedestal, I'm superior to you, I'm going to tell you what to do. Not that kind of guide, but just a guy who has empathy for the other people in your lives, you know, empathy over their hopes, dreams, challenges, opportunities, problems. And if you can just frame, if you can come from this mindset around, how can I help them? You know, there's a Zig Ziglar quote. This is decades old. You can get everything you want in life as long as you help enough other people get what they want in life. That's the essence of this. It's not all about you mindset.
That is just so good, because I think that just shows, you know, that you need that giving heart to get where you want to go. And that's just seeing the work that you've done is just evident that that's so true, because you have to give, and you have to not be selfish. Like, it's easy to, your point, say, what can I get out of this relationship? Or if you go to a networking event, what can I get from this group? But flipping it and saying, you know, how can I add value to this group?
Yeah.
Without ever expecting anything in return. And I love that you're saying that, because it's so true and it's so good. I think if more entrepreneurs thought this way, they would probably have more successful businesses, right?
I think so, especially as it relates to thinking about your clients, right? As the heroes, you know, and like, think of social situations. You ever in a social situation, Brooklyn, where you meet someone and all they do is talk about themselves?
All the time.
And you shared something about you and they're like, let me one up you.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Those.
Listeners, don't do that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's like, I already know enough about me. It's like, let's just focus on you. But yeah, people just naturally want to talk about themselves. So if you can ask questions about themselves or about someone else, they'll love you, you know?
Yeah. It's how to be a great conversationalist. Ask people questions about their favorite topic.
Pretty much. Oh my goodness. So wow, so good so far and so helpful. What would you say are, you know, maybe the top 3 easy, simple things that leaders can do to start reaching their potential today? Like, what are some maybe like daily habits that leaders can start doing today?
I think one of the most valuable things leaders can do is make sure they know what actually matters. I think the world today is urgency addicted. I think the world today is overmanaged and underled. I think the world today really values probably activity, but but actually, does it really matter? Right? Are we working on the things that really matter? And a lot of people major in minor things. So actually knowing for you, knowing what your definition of success is and not chasing other people's definition of success. I was watching this morning, this is whatever, July 2025. Scotty Scheffler is probably top golfer in the world right now. And he was being interviewed. He gave a super thoughtful question about success. And I'll paraphrase it. He said, I won this tournament and the feeling of success lasted 2 minutes. And then I won the next tournament and the feeling of success lasted 2 minutes, and so on. And it kind of becomes a new normal. So for me, when I think about success and fulfillment, I think success is just this never ending. There's always a bigger boat. You win the tournament, you get a better car, bigger house, bigger boat. It just lasts minutes or days at most, and then it's your new normal. And if you're chasing your life only about material things and like those success wins, you can feel empty. So I think about fulfillment. I think about loving what you do every day and designing a life around doing what you love doing every day. This goes back to one of the questions we left unanswered from the start, which was, how did I get into leadership and coaching? So the coaching side, how I got into that was in 2008, I was interviewing for a company and they had me do a Clifton Strengths assessment. 34 different strengths.
What type of assessment?
It's called
I've heard of that.
Clifton Strengths.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Clifton Strengths. Wonderful. Like 35 million people at this point have done it. Tons of resources. But when I first did my Clifton Strengths, my number one strength that came up was developer, which is you get a great deal out of satisfaction from helping other people grow, develop, and so on. And I kind of knew that about myself, but seeing that in that Clifton Strengths report gave me permission to really lean into that. And I was a mid-level manager in the tech industry at that point. And I thought, what would life be like if I designed a life where I could just lean into that strength every single day as the core of what I do professionally? And that led me to think, hey, could I be an executive coach? What does that look like? And that led me to go do the MBA, get coach certification, get C-level roles so I have credibility to help C-level leaders. And it led me to do all that. It took a decade from that initial idea to actually leaving my last corporate role and stepping out on my own. But that's how I got into coaching. And that's how I'm chasing fulfillment, which is just loving what I do every day. I feel like I could do this for 30 more years, just like I'm doing now, and it would be super fulfilling for me.
That is so cool. And you must have had a lot of, did you have people in your life that always believed in you, or was it something that you had to really instill in yourself?
The one story that really comes to mind, it was the money story. I'm making good money in the tech and video game world. And I got 3 kids, sole breadwinner. And my conversation with my wife about money was like less than 5 minutes. It went something like this. Hey, if we cut Colin's paycheck, what's the risk? What's the worst case scenario? And we thought, well, what if you could make $0 as a coach in the next 2 years? Well, what would that look like? We'd eat into a bunch of savings and probably some line of credit debt. And my wife just looked at me and said, bet on yourself. Let's take that risk.
Wow.
And I really value and appreciate that support. I know not everybody, I talk to some others, don't have that. But I'm super grateful to have that kind of support in my life for making that transition.
Yeah, having a supportive partner is definitely helpful for sure, and really can instill that belief. If you don't have that, it makes it really difficult for sure. So yeah, I was just curious because usually there's always someone or a group of people that believe in you and push you forward. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a great person, and you have 3 lovely boys from what it sounds like. So that's awesome. Busy house.
It is a busy house. Yes.
Yeah, I got one myself and then one coming on the way. So I'll be a boy mom of 2. So It'll be a busy house, but
It'll be two boys?
2 boys. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I remember, Brooklyn, when you were pregnant, we met. It's probably the last time I
Yes.
saw you in person, but I haven't talked to you since little guy. What's his name?
Cole.
Cole. Amazing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was about maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago. Yeah, I was pregnant at the time, so a lot has changed since then. So
Yeah.
but
Yes.
we're the same.
Boys are fun.
It's been fun. Yes, I'm just excited to raise boys. Yeah, feels like quite the pressure, but also I'm excited for that. Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Keep them busy.
Definitely. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we're coming close to the end of this interview, but if you could, or I'll end with this. If you could put one message on a billboard for every leader to see, what would that say?
Listen. Listen, it's the most underutilized superpower in leadership and interpersonal skills today.
I completely agree. Yeah, I think it doesn't happen enough. Because to your point, everyone
It
wants.
doesn't. We're on the hero story, right? Just listen. Not everybody needs you to be a problem solver. Not anybody wants you to tell them what to do. Autonomy is one of the main drivers of engagement. People want autonomy. So, as a leader, being able to make a choice about when you need to provide direction and mentor and when you need to stop and just let other people figure things out, not just in leadership, but in our own lives. I'm a certified trained executive coach. One of the fundamental things they teach us is how to listen and not solve problems for clients. And I've just translated that in other areas of my life. Number one, it's way easier when you just literally sit back and ask people questions and listen and have them figure out their own things. Way better for them, way better for you. And I teach leaders this now. I've got a module called Coaching Skills for Leaders as part of my overall year-long leadership academy. And when we do that session, I teach them how to coach. I teach them how to listen and ask good questions, be present, be curious. And I let them loose and practice on each other. And frequently, when we're debriefing, the people who were being coached said, I absolutely loved it that someone didn't tell me what to do and didn't tell me what they think I should do. And they just let me figure it out. That's all I needed was time to think.
That is so powerful because, as a coach, I'm sure you always feel like you have to share advice or share, something to help the client. But sometimes all they need is, to your point, I just need someone to listen to me.
Yeah. Sometimes people need direction. Sometimes people need them to tell you what to do, especially if they're junior in their career or maybe junior or inexperienced on a particular task. But for a lot of people, they actually are way more capable than they are given space for.
I completely agree. Yeah, most people know the answer already to some extent, like as far as taking the first step, but they just need to talk it out. And I think that's just good life advice in general, even outside of business. Just listen, because that's really helped, even in my relationship, in my marriage, and with my family. So really great reminder. Well,
I love it when someone says to me, this, that. I think I just solved my own problem. I love hearing that.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're welcome. That's so good. Oh, well, thank you so much for this valuable conversation. There's just so many value bombs in this podcast episode, and I cannot wait for everyone to listen to this. And before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work?
ColinCox.com. LinkedIn is where I post the most frequently.
Amazing. Yeah. So everyone go follow Colin, go check out his businesses that he's involved in. And thank you so much again for being on the show. It really means a lot to me. And make sure everyone to share the show with a friend, like and subscribe to the show. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Brooklyn. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.